availability here. So HANA high availability means, so it's a 100% availability here. That is what for production systems, mainly for the production systems and also the critical business applications. So critical business databases or critical business applications, the people will go for the HA mode, high availability mode, which means if the one database is down, we have the another database to get the to survey the business here. Like that, they will go for this one here. So in this case, what we have to do? So in this case, suppose the example, what will happen? This is the so this is the application, SAP application, right? So suppose if you have the two databases here, so then what will happen? So two databases here, SAP will connect to the virtual server here. Then so SAP will connect to the virtual. This will point to the primary and this will point to the secondary here. Here primary and secondary concept here. So this is the SAP application here, right? So this is the DB, database 1. This is the database 2 here, DB2 concept here, DB2 concept here. So database 1 and database 2 concept here. So whenever so SAP is running on, all users are connected to the SAP. They are doing their transactions. They are booking the orders, purchase orders, sales, everything they are doing in the SAP system here, right? So in case something is happened here, what will happen? So your primary database is down here. Then immediately SAP will connect to the secondary database here. Immediately it will connect to the secondary database. So which means if the first database is down, if you don't have secondary, what will happen? If you don't have the secondary database, if the SAP, this DB is down, immediately SAP also will go down, right? If the DB is down, then immediately SAP also will go down status here. Why? Because so the business will not happen. Why? Because we have only one database. That database is down, right? That database is down here. So then in this case, SAP also will down, and SAP is not available for the users for transactions or so for storing the data, everything. SAP is not available here. In this case, how we can achieve the high availability concept here? My application is very critical applications during the my application is my very critical applications. Why? Because it's a kind of banking sector applications, banking applications here. So it's a banking servers means it's a very important servers. It's a very it should be available here. Always it should be available here. If the bank server is down, what will happen? All the transactions, so everything we will get lost, right? So we will get lost here. So that's the concept here. So in this case, what we will do in this case, so the critical applications, that's why I mentioned like critical applications, we can install the two HANA databases here. One HANA database in the one data center, another HANA database in the same data center or different data center, we can install it here. So here, what will happen? SAP will connect to the, when you are installing the SAP, your HANA database on the HA mode. HA mode means high availability mode, HA mode. So here it will connect to the one of the virtual IP. That virtual IP will point to the here two database, DB1 and DB2 here. So you are running fine, and suddenly, not sure, maybe some hardware failure or network issues or some OS issues or something is happens, data center issues, your database 1 is down. Then immediately the DB2 should be up, right? DB2 should be failover to the database, right? It should be DB2 service immediately available. So if the one database, your business will be down. The two databases, immediately your services will move to the DB2. Then here your data is available. Sir, how the data is available here? Why? Because DB1, all the transactions are happening in the DB1 itself. All the transactions, everything is happening in the DB1 itself. So then how the data is available here? That's why we have to configure the replication modes, replication. So from DB1 to DB2, we need to configure the replication. We have to configure it. So whatever the transactions are done here in the DB1, same will be synced to the DB2 database here. So in case DB1 done, same data is available here also. So the user can continue their transaction from here. Here half percent he completed, then next half percent he can continue from here. Right? So here it is can continue the operations from here. So that's why we have the HANA replication modes concept, replication and operation modes concept in the systems here. Replication modes and operation modes concept in the in the system here. Replication and operation modes concept here. Right? So how to configure this operation modes and replication modes concept here? So to achieve this high availability configuration, what settings we have to perform? So here what we required is we need, so here two operating systems, two OS we required. Yes, we have the two OS. One is the SAP. So we have two operating systems. We have one is the SAP, so Linux 1, and we have the one more operating system is called the SAP HANA. Yes, we have the two operating systems. And you need to install the same database on the both the host. The database SID instance number should be same on the primary host and secondary host. Then we will call it as the primary and secondary, right? So the first host and the second host, same SID. Then let's assume here, let's see here, here we have the two databases here, SAP HANA and SAP Linux 1, two databases are here. So let's check whether we have the same SID is installed or not here. Let's see here. Go to, let's check the what are the SIDs are installed both the system side here. So here we have the HD6, HD7, HDQ, HDS. Then here, so HD5 is there. So here HD5 is not there here. 7 is there. HD9 is there. No, here is not there. So the first of all, we will ensure both the databases. So both the nodes, both the operating systems, SIDs should be installed. So now let's see, we will make one as the common here. In the SAP Linux 1, we will take HD1. HD1, we will take the high availability here, right? HD101. So I'm starting the HD101 here in the primary. So we will make one host as primary here. We are starting here. Same as like in the SAP Linux 1 also, we don't have HD1 system here. So we need to install the same systems here. And also the version also should be matched here. Make sure. So both the instance numbers, versions, instance number, SID, the version should be matched for the primary and secondary database here. Why? Because it should be same. Then only SAP will connect, right? Here you have the one database SID. Here you have the another database SID. Means how the replication works. It won't work. And also how the HA works. HA means the same SID, same instance number, same SID, same instance number here, right? So that is the main thing here. So here HD101 is there. Here also what we will do here. Here also we will install the HD101, it's not there here. HD1 ADM is not there. Okay, then we will go to the media. In the media. So, but what is the version of this HD1 here? What is the version here? So let's try to add that one here. SAP HANA. It's like 01. So okay, I have added the HD1 here. So just go to the system database. So it's a 67, SPS 06 here, right? SPS 06 here. So HD1 SPS 06 here. So same same version, we'll do the installation here. Then go to the CD. So this is the HANA installation. Normally, we already performed this HANA installation, right? Similar way, I'm doing the HANA installation here. So using the HDB LCM tools here, right? So then, so we have signature file issue. Then I'm ignoring the signature file here. Check underscore signature underscore file, right? I'm passing the argument to, so ignore the signature file here. We have to install on the same SID, same instance number here, right? Same instance number, same SID, same instance number here. Just click on the new system, install the new system here. But because we are installing the database, so it's a new database. So that's why installation, right? So just click on the fourth button option here. It started. It's started here. So then in this case, I can add the tenant also here. Before that, let's pass the arguments here. So enter the installation path. It's the same. Just click on the enter button, right? Local host name is same. So do you want to add the system? No. Enter. So what is the SID? HD1, right? What is the instance number? 01, right? It's a 01 instance number. It should be matched to the your other database HD101. So it should be matched. HD101 should match. So I'm giving the same number I have given here. So then encryption, it's a common. These all are the common data volume location, log volume location. Here one good thing is when you are installing the HANA database, one good thing is when you are installing the HANA database here, automatically it will take the answer here. If this answer is correct, just click on the enter button. Don't type like yes or something like that here, right? So then passwords. Passwords I am setting here while doing the HANA installation here. User ID common system. Yes. Okay. So now DB is getting installed here. So your HD101 is getting installed on the here. So we are preparing the our system here. Both the host, same host. I am preparing the systems here. So this is getting installed here. See here, system is getting installed here. While this is getting installed, we'll draft our steps here. What we have to do here to perform the configurations here. SAP HANA, the HA, so replication steps here. HA replication steps. Okay. So to perform this one, what we have to do here? So both the host, first of all, both the host. So both the host, same SID, same instance number should be installed. Okay, that is the one thing here. Then check if the HANA DB is running on both the hosts. So we need to check whether the both are up and running or not here. So then once it is running, so the step number 3, what we have to do on primary. So on the primary database, we have to assume one database as primary, another database as secondary here, like this, right? So on primary, so what we have to do, we need to copy the SSFS keys. So FS keys from which location? From primary to secondary, we have to copy here. So the location of the file, okay, this is the global, the security folder, global security folder, we have to do that one. Global security folder. So we have to perform this configuration here. Global security folder. So we have to copy the SSFS keys from primary to secondary.
And version also should be same now, sir.
Yeah, version also should be same. It's both the versions should be same here. So log on to the primary, then we need to copy the SSFS keys from primary to secondary, same location we have to copy. The location is, so maybe I will write it fully, USR, CP, or SID, then sys, then global, security, then there is a RS, SSFP, there is star, there we have the data and key. So these two files we have to copy from primary and we have to place it on the secondary here. We have to copy primary to secondary here. Then restart the secondary DB. Restart the secondary DB after you copy the SSFS keys. It's a very important this one. Then once you copy it, then enable the replication on primary using system DB. You have to use the system DB here. From system DB, so you have to do this configurations, backups, restores, recovery, replications, everything. You have to enable the replication here. Then stop the secondary DB, then register the secondary DB on primary from secondary system DB here, secondary system DB. Everything from the we have to do it in the system DB here. So while registering, all right, we have to give the so replication modes and the operational modes we have to give here. Replication modes and operation modes we have to give to the system here while registering. Then once you've done it, then check the replication status, data replication status from primary system DB, primary system DB. Then there is a tab is called the landscape tab. Landscape tab, there you can see the replication status here. So these are the steps we have to follow here, right? We need to proceed all these steps here, right? So here, while registering we have to give the replication modes and operational modes. So what are those replication modes here? What are those operation modes here? That will come when you are doing this configuration. So that will come into the picture here, right? So that will come. So let's wait for the secondary first step one should be complete here. Then remaining steps we can complete it here. So meanwhile, what I can do here, I will remove all those, I will clean up all those things. Because when you are doing the replication, it will get confused here. So that's why, so what I am doing here, I am removing the configuration here. Okay, done. So this is the system DB. So this is the system DB which is on the SAP HANA. So here, so we will take here, we will take the example here, we will take the primary is so SAP HANA. Okay. Then secondary database is like SAP Linux 1. SAP Linux 1 is secondary here. So SAP HANA is our primary here. So then we will just to provide the description also here. Why? Because we are installing the both SADs are same, right? Both are same here. Both are same here. So to avoid the confusion, so I am doing some primary, something like that. I am just giving the naming convention here. SAP HANA is our primary here. Here 01. So tenant. So here HANA database is HD1 here. Just giving the description is the primary. So tenant here. Tenant here, just for understanding purpose here. Why? Because the primary, secondary, we are installing the both are same here. So right here. So we have clarity here. So primary tenant. Why? Because secondary also will come the same HD1, HD1. So you will get confused here. That's why I mentioned here this one like this here. So both are installed here, right? So now let's see where it is here. Still it is getting installed here. Still it is getting installed. So while that is getting installed, so we can just copy the SSFS keys, step number 2 here. So check the both are the up and running or not. So it's not done here. So just I'm going to the step number 3, like copy the SSFS keys from primary to secondary here. So we have WinSCP here. So to copy the Linux level commands, so we have to use the Linux level commands. We have to use the SSFS commands here. SSFS. So SSFS keys we have to copy it for that one. We need to use the WinSCP. WinSCP we have to use it here. Oh. Okay, where it is? Okay, it is installing. So meanwhile, what I will do, I'm connecting to the my Linux system here, right? So this is the Linux system. So here I will give the SAP HANA is the host name. So username root. So right, username root, the password. So the keys, the SSF keys we have to copy from. So USR SAP. So USR SAP, SID, then sys. So then sys global, then security. Here, this is the RSC SS keys. Here, we have to copy this data, and keys we have to copy. So what happens if you don't perform the step number 3 here? If you don't perform step number 3, your secondary system, the step number 7, it won't happen. It won't register secondary into primary here. It won't register the secondary into primary here. So that's why we have to use this one. Otherwise, we will face the issues here. That's why we have to properly follow the all those things here. So what I will do here, so I will copy to my download directory, right? So I'm copying to the my download directory here, drag and drop. You know in SAP how to use it here. Then I will go to the secondary. Again, I will open the one more tab. I will open the my SAP Linux 1 root user, right? So here I can just go to the here USR SAP. Here I can place it in HD1 folder. So first of all, let's wait. This has to be complete here. Once it is completely installed, then I can copy it here. So it's there in my data folder here. So just I can drag, I can drop it to the here. I can drag and I can drop it to the here. This is what I have to do it now currently here. So just waiting for the copied, I need to place it in here. Then I need to restart it here. That is what we have to do it here. So while that is in progress, so let's explain. I will explain about the replication modes. As I told, we have the replication modes and the operational modes. We need to choose the register the secondary, and while registering, we have to give the replication modes and operational modes. We have to choose it here. So what are those here? How it is very important. So those are the things we have to give it to the here, the replication modes and operational modes here. Let's see. Still it is getting installed. Okay. So let's talk about the one theoretical part. Like, so we have three types of replication modes are there here. Three types of replication modes in SAP here. Three types of replication modes here. The first one is called the sync mem. Sync mem. The second one is called the sync. The third one is called the async, asynchronous, right? Async here. So they are the three types of replication modes in HANA database here. Sync mem. Sync mem means, so here synchronous, both are synchronous only. And this is the asynchronous. Synchronous, asynchronous difference is synchronous, the primary, let's take here. Here we have the two databases, right? Two databases here. Primary and secondary here. So primary will send the data to secondary, right? The secondary will send the acknowledgement back to the primary saying that I have received a transaction. Then primary will send the one more data commitment, one more transaction to the here. Then secondary will send the acknowledgement to the primary. There is a mutual understanding here, right? Primary and secondary here. So, right? So here primary will keep on sending the data to the secondary. The secondary will send the acknowledgement back to the primary saying that I received the transaction. Then it will send the one more transaction. Then it will send the one more transaction. There is a order wise, sequence wise, the transactions data, the data is replicated to the primary to secondary here in the synchronous mode. In the synchronous mode, the data will be replicated from primary to secondary here, right? In the synchronous mode here. So in the asynchronous mode, what will happen? In the asynchronous mode, what will happen? So primary will send the primary is sending the data to the secondary, but it does not send the any acknowledgement. So means it does not send any acknowledgement here, which means the secondary or the primary does not bother about my secondary is receiving the transaction or not. It does not bother. It don't take care here. So just keep on sending the data, whether it is received or not, it won't take any action here. So, but primary, once the transaction is received, it will wait for the acknowledgement. Once receive the acknowledgement, then it will send the one more transaction. Then it will send the acknowledgement like this. So it will wait for the acknowledgement. It will send it. Means it primary, it will bother about whether secondary received the transaction or not. Once they received the transaction, secondary, then it will send the confirmation to the primary. Then primary will send the one more thing to the here. But in the asynchronous mode, it won't send any confirmation or acknowledgement to the primary here. So that is called the asynchronous mode here. So, sir, in the synchronous also, we have the two modes are available, right? What does it mean? What does it mean by two modes here, right? In the synchronous also we have the sync mem and synchronous. What does it mean here? So sync mem means the primary system will commit the transaction. So primary will send the transaction to the secondary. Once the secondary received it, send the acknowledgement, then secondary. So here the sync mem means it will store the data into the in memory here, right? The secondary will store the data in memory here. Secondary, where it will store the data here. Why? Because here we have HANA is the in-memory concept, and we have the file systems also available in the data folder, right? Where it will store the data, either in memory or in the data folder. Where? So if you select the sync mem, it will store the data in memory. It will store the data in memory here, right? The secondary, the logs will be saved into the in memory here. So if there is a delay in the transaction in the primary system smaller, then so it is something is a delay means if the delay, it will wait for the transaction. It will wait for the transaction from the primary. Then once the secondary received to the in memory level, it will store the data here. Suppose in any case, when you choose the in memory concept here, when you lose the connection between primary to secondary is lost, then the primary continue to send the transaction, write the changes to the local disk. Here, local disk, it will write the transactions here. But here, the data loss, here there is a data loss here. When the primary, secondary fail at the same time, then we have the data loss occurs here. Whenever the takeover happens while the secondary is not available, that time we have the data loss available. Why? Because here data is storing at main memory level. So it's not received to the still disk. So in between, if the data in between, so the connection loss, so we have the some issues here. We have the some issues here. So that's why, so why in the SIGMEM, we have the some advantages, some disadvantages here. If you choose the SIGMEM replication modes, it will store into the secondary in memory. But if any data loss occurs when the primary, secondary fail at the same time, both are failed, we have the data loss here. Why? Because the data is not written to the disk. So data is not written to the disk, not written to the disk. That's why here. So it will store the so it will lose the memory here. It will lose the data in the memory. Why? Because so data is not received to the secondary in memory. Suppose the secondary got restarted up down. So you have the issues here, data loss issues in the. So if primary also down, we have the data loss issues here. So that's why SIGMEM, we have the data loss when the primary, secondary fail at same time while secondary is connected. So that time we have the data is not written to the disk. So either primary or secondary is not written to the disk. So then we have the data loss activity here, right? So that is the one. So when you choose the sync replication mode, the primary system, normally the primary system will wait for the response or acknowledgement from the secondary. So here the log will go to the persisted disk storage, disk level. The persisted disk level, it will store to the disk level. Then it will send that confirmation to the primary here. It will send the confirmation to the primary here. That is the main thing of the here. So here that is the main thing here, right? It will store the data into the persistent disk layer here. So the data, the first of all, we know, right? HANA architecture. So in the HANA, the first data written to the main memory. After that, it will store the data into the disk format /HANA data /HANA log, right? Disk format here, data folder /HANA. So data /HANA log format. This is the main memory. This is the RAM memory here, right? So it will store the data from here to here during the save point interval. So the data it will come and it will store the data here. If you select the sync mem here, right? So it will select the sync mem, it will store the data into the RAM memory here. Then if you choose the sync, what will happen? It will store the data. It will wait. Primary will wait until data is received by the data folder. Then it will send the next transaction will send to the here. Then next transaction will send to the here. So data should receive to the secondary should receive the data from the persistence data. Then it will commit the next transaction. But here, if you select the sync mem, so once the data is received to the RAM memory, then it will send the acknowledgement back to the here. But here primary, it will send to the data to the persistence data folder. Then it will commit the next transaction. That is what? So here. That is what the synchronous here. Synchronous means, so the primary system, it will wait committing the transaction until it will get the reply from secondary whether the log is persisted. Persisted means in the data for log is moved to the persisted here. So this option is, even though your memory is secondary is down and the HANA restarted, you have the data in the data folder, it will be reloaded to the, so it will reload it to the main memory here. So here there is no data loss. Data loss activities are whenever the takeover happens, that time the data loss will happen here. That is the main thing will happen here, right? So that is the thing here. It will happen the sync mem and sync. Asynchronous means it does not bother about the response from the secondary here. That is the three types of replication modes here. Okay, got it? Any questions here? I think it is getting installed, getting started. Got it, right? So replication modes concept. It's very simple.
Yes.
So it's go to the mem means it will go to the memory. Sync means it will go to the data folder. That's it. Async means there is no acknowledgement here. CA means no acknowledgement here. The reverse order. Here, these two should be received the acknowledgement here.
The only thing is that sync mem will not have the save point concept, right?
Right.
In synchronizing, in sync we'll have the save point so that the data will store the data.
Right. Correct.
Okay. Got it.
Small difference actually.
Yeah, it's a memory. It's permanent storage and temporary storage. That's it.
Right. Okay, still it is installing. We have the operation modes also here. There are the two types of operation modes, three types of replication modes. So two types of operation modes here. Operational modes.
Good morning, sir. Sir, could you please just precise detail replication mode 1 and 2 differences precisely?
1 and 2. This one.
1 and 2.
This is the main memory. It will receive the main memory. So sync means it will data should be received to the here data folder. That is the main thing here. So it will go to like the sequence. Once it is received the transaction to the persistency layer means this is the one persistency layer. This layer in the data folder, log folder, we will call it as the persistency layer here. So the data will receive to the in the data folder. Then it will send the acknowledgement to the primary saying that please commit the next transaction. Primary, please send the next transaction. Then it will send the transaction. Then it will come to the here. Then it will send the transaction to the here. But the sync mem means it will just move the data to the in the RAM memory itself. Then it will commit. It will send the response to the here. Here it will stop here itself. It will stop at the RAM itself. Then it will send the response to the primary here. Then primary will commit the transaction. Then it will send the like this here. So later it will be replayed. Later it will be moved to the data folder here. In between, while it is moving to the in between, your secondary is crashed or the primary also crashed both the same time. We have the data loss. Why? Because so in the RAM is the volatile memory here. So the data crashed in between. So the data is not moved to the data folder here. It's in the RAM. So then RAM, all the data will be in the RAM memory, everything will be deleted here. So whatever the data is there previously, the new data which is not received to the here, so there is a data loss happens here. There is a data loss happens when the primary, secondary or secondary will fall at the same time here. That is the main thing here. So how frequently data will be synced to the, how frequently there is a operational modes concept here, operational modes concept here. So they are the two types of operational modes concept here. They are the two types of operational modes. Normally, so when this work is started, when the, okay, I think it is getting imported. So when I'm trying to configure it, that time you will get more clarification. So where can we see this operational modes and everything here? Okay, so let me try to explain during that time again here while doing the configuration. So you will get more clarity here. So now delivery units are importing. So let me try to add here. So let me say SAP. So Linux 1, right? It's a 01 instance number. It's a multi-container. Then system DB. So I can say like secondary. So SDB, secondary SDB. This is the secondary SDB here. So you can keep the same systems in while you are practicing also here. So it will be very useful again here. So secondary SDB I have added here. Then SCP Linux 1, then 01, then we have the tenant. This is called the HD1. This is called the secondary TDB, TDB here. Is it mandatory? Means it's not the mandatory, just for identification I put the description here. So in this way you can see which one is the primary. Why? Because both are the system DB HD1, system DB HD1, tenant DB HD1, tenant DB HD1. But host are different here. This is the SAP Linux 1, this is the SAP HANA 1 here. So for identification purpose, I put the primary, secondary, like that. I kept it into the naming convention here. Simply, easily understandable here, right? So let's see. So it should be complete fully. Still, it is importing the things here. Once it is imported, then once it is imported, we can mark our step 1, step 2 are completed here. Then we can perform the SSFS keys. We can perform it here. This is the very important step here. If you miss this step, what will happen? The secondary, it won't register, it won't talk to the primary. It won't register. That is the one thing here. We will face the issues here. That's why people, it won't, they will miss sometimes. So we are following the, so sequence wise, we are following the activity. That's why we are waiting. We are waiting for to complete the everything here. Otherwise,
Ravi, in the sync memory also, it stores the data up to the RAM, or but finally it will get stored in the
disk level. Finally, it will go to the disk level.
But during the sync memory mode, if anything happens to secondary, that there will be a disaster, right?
There is a data loss. I mean to say data loss.
But finally, the data will be stored in the persistence layer after
persistence layer. Yeah, persistence layer. Finally, it will store the persistence layer itself. But in between, while data received, then while moving to the our disk storage, if something happens, so then we have the data loss, secondary data loss, something like that. Whenever disaster happens, so whenever you fail over, that time we have this activities.
Yeah, we cannot. Okay.
Hello. In WinSAP, you have taken 2 operating systems, and can you please show me that?
So this is the WinSAP tool to move the files or folders from Windows to non-Windows, from non-Windows to Windows here. So this tool will be used for the copying the data from Windows operating system to non-Windows, from non-Windows to Windows here. So Windows, non-Windows, you cannot directly download anything here. So WinSCP we can use this tool here. So here you can just provide the your Linux host name. What is the Linux host name? So then which you are connecting. So then you can provide the password. Then
Right now also it is OS only. In left side also you have
yeah, this is
host,
the Linux here. Just I'm explaining from starting onwards how to connect to the Linux operating system also here. Why? Because some people they will ask the question also now itself how to connect it. So that's why. So this is the Linux one. Once you enter it, this is the Linux file systems here. So here by default it will go to the root folder here. Then just to make it the root here, root, just slash. Then you will see the all the folders and everything here. Then you can go to the media. So then you can go to the wherever you want, you can go to the here, right? Whatever the folder, everything. Just suppose you want to load this data here to here, then bring copy, drag, then drop it here. Then that file will come to the Linux location. Then this is the right side is the Linux one. This is the Windows one. Then you want this file should be in the Windows. Then drag and drop to the here. Then drop to the here. Then drop to drag and drop to the here. So this way you can operate this one. So if you want to change the file systems, here you have the mark highlighted tick bar is there. You need to click. So then you need to type the which file system. Okay, /HANA shared. Okay, /HANA shared. Then you will get the respective file systems here. So you need to always change the this navigations here. You got it right?
Yes, sir, one thing I want to ask you regarding today you have shown us regarding HA, but for DR purpose, like in different data center, different location, is there any other separate concept or?
This is the one asynchronous replication modes we have to choose for the DR scenario here. So
Okay,
for DR scenario, we need to choose the asynchronous replication mode here. So why? Because why asynchronous mode for the disaster recovery? Normally, in the primary data center, suppose example, this is the primary data center in the UK region. This is in the US region. Okay. So you have the two data centers here. So this is your critical business application. In the primary also you have, in the primary data center one also you have. So primary and secondary you have. In the DR data center also you have the one more HANA server additionally you have kept it here for DR, disaster recovery scenario here. This is in the USA. This is in the UK here. UK here. This is the HANA HD1. So this is the HD1 here. This is also like HD1. Safer side, you install the one more three layer architecture. So here, what will happen here? Your SAP applications will connect to the SAP. Suppose like SAP here, it is the SAP here. Your SAP will connect to the virtual IP. This virtual IP will connect to the, so in this data center, primary and secondary, it is connected here. Primary, secondary. I mean to say, I will write it here. Primary, secondary, yes, DR or standby. Okay. So here, what will happen here? So you have the, suppose within the data center one, UK data center one, you have the, your servers are there, business server, database servers are there here. So what's happening here? So your primary, second, something primary is down in the data center, you have the secondary, you can survey the business here. The same time, entire data center is crashed. Not only one server here, entire data center is down due to floods, due to some pandemic situation. Entire data center is down here. Then in this case, how it is the business? So within the data center, your primary operating system or some hardware fault is happens. You have the secondary. You can start the secondary. Then you can start the secondary. There is a replication mode. So data automatically replicated to the secondary. Then so you can start the your business. The secondary will be replicated. You can start the secondary. Then you can run the business, right? But entire your data center is down. Even primary is down, secondary down, network down, entire floods, there is a power outage. So all everything is down. In this case, how your business here, right? Then your business not only in the UK country, right? You have the USA also, you have the business, India, some other countries also, you have the business here. Then in this case, Even in the UK, one country where business did, all countries will affect, right? To avoid this situation, how the people will plan, the customers, they will go for the DR, disaster recovery center. Then they will place the one more disaster recovery data center here. They will bring up the, so this servers here. They will bring up the DR servers here. Sir, how the data here? Here data is there here. Primary center, there's a replication modes are there. It's replicating the data fine. But when you start the data here, there is no data. No. Here we have the data. So there is a concept is called the, so there is same concept here. So replication concept here. But here, asynchronous concept here. Async concept here. Asynchronous concept. Asynchronous concept. Async concept, but it's not the trustable concept here actually. Asynchronous concept means, so there is no guarantee where all the data received to the secondary or not. But somewhat it's better to, so we can survey it here. Why? Because so the data is not synchronizing to the secondary, then how? So why? Because synchronous mode, in the sync mode, data will be replicated to the secondary, then only the DR will send it to the primary, then primary will commit the next transaction, then it will go to the primary. Like that, there is a consistency here. But async mode, your primary will not bother about whether my secondary received or not. It will not bother. Means there is no acknowledgement here, right? It's keep on sending the data, whether secondary DR will receive it or not, we are not sure. So in this case, so how the data sync here? So again, maybe we have to backup and restore method. Some other things we have to do it here. Backup, we have to back up some other devices. We have to take the backup, restore it on the DR server, or maybe that's why we need to check always whether the replication modes, operation modes are so pointing correctly or not. Is there any backup logs are happening or not? This is our monitoring activity in the HANA database level day-to-day activity here. This way we can ensure data is consistency. So for a maximum DR scenario, we will use the async methodology here. If the DR also near to primary data center, we can use the sync. When we use the async mode, and sync mode means, so there is a thumb rule from the SAP. So maybe it kind of like, it's more than 100 miles. So more than 100 miles, I guess. Yes. So more than 100 miles, then we need to use the async concept here. So below 100 miles, for example, then we need to use the sync concept here. So why? Because so here, to avoid the latency issues, I mean to say latency issues, if the more miles are there from the primary to secondary, then so primary will wait until secondary will receive the transaction, then secondary will send the transaction to primary. If the distance is very more, it will wait for some longer. There is in between, there is a performance issues on the primary side here. So that is the reason we will choose the asynchronous mode for the DR, disaster recovery. When we will up the DR means entire your disaster happens on the primary, entire everything is down. That time we will bring up the asynchronous mode here.
Sir, this all about on-premises deployment of HANA database.
Cloud also same. It's a cloud concept also. It's the same. On-premise or cloud, your HANA database concept is same here. The only infrastructure will change, but the concept is same in the on-premise and cloud.
So in case of asynchronous configuration, in any reason we have to go use the DR side, but still there are some gap, like significant data gap. So we'll be restoring from the primary backup, or what alternative option we can consider in case of asynchronous?
Restore. Otherwise, so we can all the logs, whatever the logs are generated, all the logs we can replay. We can replay on the secondary side. We can replay it here.
So sir, that means before enable to use the DR side, you have to make sure all logs are applied for every data loss.
Right, exactly. That is the concept. That is, you are in the right path now. Yes, all the logs should be applied. Then only we can bring up the server.
And sir,
It's a
you
way.
have, I believe you have already have the experience, but most of the practice actually what? You already mentioned 100 miles distance, but practically, what
That is
is the
what
best?
practically in my scenario, our guys like our customer will choose the some distance. I think it's 100 miles, I guess. Maybe it may change sometimes, but it's a miles. Miles wise, they will do the distance calculations here. So, the data center distance, primary and secondary, they won't keep in the same country, right? Different countries here. If they are keeping in the same country, but one place to another place, the distance is more. That time they will choose the asynchronous option. It's a very less, they will choose the sync option here.
Sir, one thing, sir, regarding the network bandwidth, actually, what we should take care regarding network bandwidth, even if
Here,
distance is less, but network bandwidth is not good enough. So, what should we need to consider in case of network bandwidth
network
between the
bandwidth, we need to follow the standard recommendations only. SAP is saying that we should have the 1 Gbps, 1 gigabyte per second. So, but Mbps also it works sometimes. 120, 100 Mbps also works. But we can go for the SAP recommendation like 1 Gbps per second. The network bandwidth is
sir, there is a cost one byte or on beat. Is it beat or byte?
gigabytes. GB.
Byte. Okay.
So after MB, we have the GB, right? Gigabyte per second, Gbps. IO issues, IO depends upon the network provider. We have the, so IO issues. IO means input, how many, there is we will call it as the IO issues like 2000 IAMs, right? I think IO, for IO, we will calculate like IMPS, something like that. We will calculate it here. So in the network side means input output relationship bytes. IAM, something like there is a one terminology here. We will use it. Okay, secondary also it's installed. Okay, it is installed primary and secondary it's installed here. So I think we are left. So what we can do tomorrow, we'll go with the more on the how to configure this one. How to configure this one, we'll discuss on tomorrow here. Okay.
Ravi, one more question regarding the sync mem. See, the thing is that we don't have the save point, right, until the transaction is completed. So how will get how will the data will be saved in the log files and data files?
So I think save point is there. I guess I can see save point is there, but we'll see. We'll see tomorrow. I think save point will occur. Normally save point will occur either the sync or sync mem. If I correct, so the save point
Why?
will
Because
occur.
why?